Hey everybody, welcome back. So today I'm doing the next one in my movie poster collection series, and today I'm doing the letter B. So without further ado, let's get started. So first up is a international poster for the movie Back to the Beach, a comedy that needs a Blu-ray release, and I think is actually really funny. One thing I love about this poster is just how just super vibrant it is. Kind of insane, actually. Here's the poster for the movie Bad Dreams, which didn't Scream Factory, I think, put that out, if I remember correctly, on Blu-ray. A film I think is really fun, and I also have the lobby card set for it as well. Next up is the Mario Bava classic Bear in Blood, and I love, whenever I can find these older posters, especially at a reasonable price, I always try and grab them. I mean, look at just that older artwork and everything, just, oh, I love it. One of my favorite comedies. I literally cannot tell you how many times I've watched this in my life, and actually there was one point where it actually helped me get through kind of a rough patch, and that's the movie Basketball. This movie cracks me up so much no matter how many times I watch it. And I was lucky enough to also find the lobby card set, which is kind of a big deal because in the US, they actually, towards the end of the 90s is when they really kind of stopped doing lobby cards. So even though some of them did kind of carry over into the early 2000s, really by the late 90s, you know, theaters weren't really displaying lobby cards anymore. And now the Roger Corman version of Star Wars with Battle Beyond the Stars. I've always loved the artwork for this one. I mean, I know they were trying to make this low-budget film, you know, obviously sort of compete on a bigger scale, but obviously that poster, you know, really does help. I mean, that's quite eye-catching. Here's one that's really hard to showcase on camera, and that is an original Japanese poster for Battle Royale. And what makes this one key is the fact that it's made out of almost like a foil material, so it's very shiny. So I had to picture it at one angle just so you can see the image on it of all the students and everything. And then here's a picture of it at just a slightly off angle where you can try and hopefully see the glare of the foil so you can actually get a sense of what it looks like. Now in person, you know, it looks amazing with the impact of the foil and the image and everything. You just can't capture it on camera. Here is the Beast within, and I also have the lobby card set, which one of them is kind of extra gory, which is appreciated. Another one that needs a Blu-ray release, at least in the US, with a new transfer, even though there was one, an Australian release, and that is of Don Coscarelli's The Beastmaster. Hopefully we get a Blu-ray for that soon. Here is the Bean with an image that I remember as a kid from the VHS especially. Here's one I think I got in one a lot, and that is for The Believers. Another movie I absolutely adore and have watched probably a million times in my life, and that is Beverly Hills Cop. This is one I was very happy to get, and I also love Beverly Hills Cop 2, so had to get the poster for that as well. Here's a special one I found a couple years ago, and that is from the original US release of The Beyond under the retitled version, Seven Doors of Death. These are not too easy to come by, and they're actually a little smaller than your usual poster. So I was really happy when I found one. And I also have the 1990, gosh, 8? Was it? I can't remember. Re-release of it from Rolling Thunder of The Beyond. Rolling Thunder is obviously Tarantino's company. Here's Beyond the Door, an Exorcist ripoff, which I really love. I know I've mentioned that before because I'm very excited for the upcoming Arrow release. And I found this poster years ago, pretty cheap too. But I also have a foreign version of it, which is gigantic. And I got this like super cheap. And what's interesting about it is that, so it's a foreign poster, it's a large, obviously has very kind of interesting artwork. And there's also a sticker over the title with the title in an even different language than what the poster is under. So that's probably why I even got it so cheap. Here's Beyond the Door 2, even though it is actually has nothing to do with Beyond the Door. It was just retitled that in the US, but it's actually the Mario Bava film Shock, if I remember correctly. I'm a big Sam Fuller fan, so whenever I see any of his stuff, I try and grab it. And here is the big red one. Obviously a one that I'm not going to get rid of. In fact, I really want to get it framed. And I was so lucky when I finally got one of these, and I got it rolled, which is also special. That is obviously John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China. Definitely one I want to get like professionally framed and sort of have it displayed. So definitely one I'm not selling. Next up, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. No, and I just realized I don't have a picture of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I do have Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Apparently I don't have a picture of it, so take my word for it. Here is Dario Argento's first film as a director, if I know my history correctly, and that is Bird with a Crystal Plumage. This is obviously from the U.S. release, and one I lucked out on a couple years ago during an auction on eMovie Poster. Got it pretty cheap. I was actually really surprised. It was kind of one of those nights where everyone was bidding on some other stuff and I just happened to luck out. Sorry about the glare on this one, but it's in a plastic cover, and that is for Blade Runner the Director's Cut, which was the 1992 re-release. As you can see, it utilizes the original artwork. Had a chance to actually get an original Blade Runner poster once. It was pricey, but still a lot less than what it usually goes for, and I didn't jump at it, and I've regretted it ever since. And I do have the lobby card set for Blade Runner, which I'm lucky to have, and the poster for Blade Runner The Final Cut. I'm a huge blaxploitation fan. One of my favorites is the Larry Cohen, Fred Williamson film, Black Caesar. So happy to have this one in my collection. And rest in peace, Larry Cohen. This was one that I think I got in a lot, if I remember correctly, but it's a film I actually think is very underrated, and that's Michael Mann's Black Hat. The John Carpenter scripted Black Moon Rising, which I believe he was also going to direct at one point, if I'm not mistaken. Another Mario Bava film, Black Sunday. Again, another one that was happy to find an original, even though it does have a little stain up in the corner. I don't care, love finding these older ones, especially if I can get them at a good price. Here's the Blair Witch Project, which I do have autographed by one of the co-directors, Eduardo Sanchez, and two of the three leads, Heather Donahue and Michael Williams. Another favorite comedy of mine, and one that unfortunately could not be made today, and that is the Mel Brooks classic Blazing Saddles. Here is the Chuck Russell remake of The Blob, a film I really, really love, and really happy with the Scream Factory Blu-ray release. So that's one I recommend if you haven't picked it up yet. Here's one that also needs a Blu-ray release, and that is Blood Beach. Why hasn't this been released yet? Especially with that iconic cover. One I was really happy to get. This was in my top 5 to get, and I finally able to get one a couple years ago, 2 years ago, I think. And that is for Blood Feast, the Herschel Gordon Lewis film. I've wanted one of these for so long, and they usually go for a good amount of money, and I managed to find one in really good shape for a fair enough price. And I knew if I was going to get one, I had to just bite the bullet and get it then, because the thing is, they weren't going to get any cheaper. So really happy I have that in my collection. Here's the Trauma film, Blood-Sucking Freaks. Actually one of my favorites of theirs. But I also have the pre-Trauma release version of the film, because Trauma bought it and released it, but they didn't actually make it, and that is of The Incredible Torture Show, and I have the original poster for it, which I was really, really lucky to find. This is a Spanish poster for Bloody Birthday, which I got insanely cheap. And it's huge. It's like one of those large foreign posters. One of my favorite Brian De Palma films, Blowout. Really happy to have the poster and the lobby card set. Lucked out on that. Got it for a really good price. Here is Blue Thunder. One of those films, if you haven't seen, I highly recommend it. Really, really cool helicopter film with Roy Scheider and stuff, with a really amazing helicopter chase. Here's the Abel Ferrara then update version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Body Snatchers. Here's the Boogans, which usually you can find these really cheap. I think this may have even cost me $5 at the most. Here's another one that needs a Blu-ray release, at least in the US, and that is The Boogeyman. It was put on Blu-ray in the UK, blanking on who it was. It is out in the UK, and that it was a region-free release. Another Larry Cohen film, Bone, which was his first film as director. You never see anything from Bone, and I actually found this. It's a 40 by 60, so it's huge. Managed to find it a couple years ago, and I was like, dude, you never see anything from Bone. I had to get it. Don't know where to put it, but I have it. Here's Bordello of Blood, and I would love to get more signatures on it. Right now, I do have John Cassier and Chris Sarandon. Another film that desperately needs a Blu-ray release, and that is John McNaughton's second film after Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, and that is the Alien film, The Borrower. I really hope this gets a release. As I mentioned before, I'm a big blaxploitation film fan, and so this one, I'm not going to say the title for obvious reasons, but Boss with Fred Williamson. I love, this is a great film, and this is, again, during that time, what was great about the blaxploitation films was that they took that word, instead of having it be a derogatory term, they sort of empowered themselves by using it in a sort of in a positive way, which I always love. Happy to have the poster. Probably won't display it for obvious reasons, so, but still, you know, this is one I think I got for free. This is Martin Scorsese's one of his early films, the one he did for Roger Corman, Boxcar Bertha. Not in great shape, but again, the price was right. A film that still gets me a bit emotional by the end, and that is Braveheart. Another film that needs a Blu-ray release, and that is Breakdown. I think this one was also in a lot, if I remember correctly. Probably my favorite John Hughes film, and that is The Breakfast Club. I saw this available for cheap. I was at a convention. I was like, how could I say no? I mean, it's Breakin'. For God's sakes, I had to have a Breakin' poster in my collection. Here is David Cronenberg's classic, The Brood. Very, very cool one. One I got a long time ago. I think maybe like $15 when I got it. You know, and I think if you try and get it now, it's a lot more. The Don Coscarelli, Bruce Campbell, now classic, Bubba Hotep. The slasher classic, The Burning. Really, really cool to have that one. And here's a film I saw on TV as a kid and scared the crap out of me. So I had to get the poster for it, and that is a Burnt Offerings. You know, really, really creepy film. And I was lucky enough, at some point a couple years ago, I actually found the lobby card set. You know, got it pretty cheap too. Very happy to have both the poster and the lobby card set. So that does it for this video for the letter B. Keep an eye out for the next one, obviously for the letter C. So it should be a lot of fun titles in that one as well. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know which ones you think I should keep and get rid of. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.